Hello, everyone. You're welcome to News Central TV. I am Keminni, Amanor. News Central now at this hour begins in South Africa, where convicted rapist and murderer Thabo Bester has made his first appearance before the Bloemfontein Magistrate Court following his rearrest 2 days ago. Bester was arrested together with his girlfriend, Dr Nandipha Magudumana, in Tanzania. Bester was serving a life sentence imprisonment at the time of his escape. He faces the charge of escaping from lawful custody, defeating the ends of justice, violation of a dead body, and fraud. During court proceedings, Bester asked the court to show him documents relating to his deportation to South Africa. His request to address the court was denied. He will reappear in court on May 16, 2023. Advocate Paul Hoffman, the Director of Accountability, now joins us for more on today's appearance in court. Paul, I appreciate your time with us, but let's get right into it. You saw what happened in court today. What readings have you made into what strategy the defense and his counsel are bringing to court?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity, Keminni, and good afternoon to your viewers. It seems that Thabo Bester, running true to form, is trying to turn this court appearance into a television production. He sought to address the court and was not allowed to do so because he was represented by a lawyer who had to speak for him. And he made a complaint that he has not eaten for 24 hours, which I think is just designed to add to the histrionics of the entire event. He could have taken food, but he wouldn't take food from correctional services because, rightly or wrongly, he was afraid that they may poison.
I see. I want us to look at some of the demands that he had made earlier. He asked to be shown his deportation document from Tanzania. Is it a strategy, or this is a justified request from Bester and his counsel?
I think they are entitled to see the paper trail that got him deported from Arusha earlier and flown back to South Africa. But at the end of the day, he is now within the jurisdiction of South Africa. And unless he was illegally removed from where he was arrested, he is going to have to face trial on the charges that you mentioned in the intro to this interview.
I see. And as you rightly pointed out, he's also raised concerns about fear for his life. Is this also a germane concern that, investigators should look at, or again, it may be tricks that he's playing on investigators and the court entirely?
I think the fact that he's able to raise the question at all is an indication of the collapse or the weakness in the criminal justice administration in South Africa. He's been at large since May last year, and really very little has been done to rearrest him, and only moves were only made in this regard once publicity was given to the fact that he had escaped by pretending to be burnt to a cinder in his cell when some other body was put there in his place.
I see. Where do you think the case goes from here?
Well, I suspect in relation to him, because he is a prisoner serving a long sentence already for rape and murder, it's simply going to be a question of reincarcerating him on those charges and then running the case against him in respect of the escape and the substitution of a corpse in the pretense that it was him who had been burnt to a cinder in his cell. The other people involved in that conspiracy, and it appears that it was at least his girlfriend Nandipha, as well as staff of G4S, the privatized prison administration company that was running the maximum security prison in Bloemfontein, in which he was incarcerated and in which he was transferred to the single cell from which it was easiest to make an escape because of the deficiencies in the closed-circuit television monitoring system.
Speaking of other people who could be implicated in this, what impact do you think this case, as it is unfolds, will have on the fate of the Justice and Correctional Minister or the ministry at large?
Yes, certainly in countries in which accountability is taken seriously, this type of event would lead to the resignation of the minister. Nobody in South Africa is holding their breath because ministers do not resign in South Africa. South Africa's democracy is not that advanced yet. And so we expect that the minister will seek to brave the storm and brazen out his responsibility for what has gone on.
I see. Is there any impact or correlation between what has happened in this case and the state of corruption in South Africa?
Yes, I think it's highly correlated. The fact that they advanced this very bold plan in the expectation that they would get away from it, get away with what they were doing by greasing a few palms in the Criminal Justice Administration and in the subcontracted out G4S organization, tells you all you need to know about the levels of impunity in South Africa, where a convicted criminal who is serving time for very serious offenses of rape and of murder is able to walk free and to be free for the best part of a year, because there is simply impunity in the land rather than a criminal justice administration which is functioning as it should.
And Paul, just before we let you go, what do you think? Is this a clean-cut case for prosecution, or we are in for a long haul and very complicated one?
I think that if the investigation proceeds on a professional basis, it's going to be very hard for those accused of being involved in this plot to escape liability for their criminality. So one hopes that the National Prosecuting Authority will put its best foot forward and do what it can to get a conviction without delay.
Paul, I appreciate your time with us, but that'll be all for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.